How's it going, guys? So I haven't made that many of these informative videos in a while, and I think now's a good time to explain to you guys why I bought a Northern Light truck camper and I didn't go with something like a Bigfoot or an Arctic fox. But before I get to that, I'm going to show you guys a few things that I absolutely love about my Northern Light truck camper. One of the biggest reasons why I chose this truck camper, and mostly this one in particular, as there is other Northern Light models, but I found this one had the most space. As you can see, me standing in here, for a truck camper that has like no slides, this is a lot of space. Another big thing about this design in here is when Northern Light, if you look at any of Northern Light's newer truck campers, you'll notice that this is the layout they go with all of them now. There's not, it's always the bathroom in the back, the fridge about right here, and then a cabinet in the back for storage. And the reason why that works is because it maximizes your space in here and it just works. Like, the layout is wonderful. I absolutely love it. So another big deal too is the bed area is obviously, as you can see, I did a little somersault in it. It's a full-size queen bed. And so you could actually take like a full-size, your house mattress and throw it in here. And there's so much space in here. Like, I'm sitting up right now. My height is 5'8", and as you can see, I have like quite a bit of room here. If I go back here, you can see I still have some room. I did hit my head there, but it's pretty extreme. Sitting up in bed, I'll admit, isn't the greatest, but for the most part, if you're just laying down and you got your TV up here, you're pretty good. And now with that being said, with all the space in here, let's put it to good use. And that brings us to the storage in here. Now, my last truck camper had, I think maybe I could count on my hands how many cabinets there was. This one, on the other hand, has a lot more. The storage in here is actually quite incredible. I have a pantry that slides out like this. This is probably one of my favorite features. I show it all the time. We have storage all the way up here. We have storage in the bed area, quite a bit up there. And the cabinets up there, I barely even have them full right now. And that's just because I don't have enough stuff to put in them. I have finally found a camper that I can't fill. When I was looking at these campers and I was looking online, I questioned if there was actually enough storage. And then once I actually moved from my old camper into this one, I realized that, oh wow, there's more storage than I could ever need in here. Now, another thing that most people don't talk about is when you're going down like forest service roads or anything like that, and you're getting to spots where you get like lots of off camber and whatnot, it can get a little bit tippy, or even I've heard people say that truck campers feel really tippy on the highway and stuff when you get into like bigger sizes. This one does not. It's on a single rear wheel truck. When I'm able to go down, when I go down the highway with this thing and there's the winds, I do feel the winds, but not to the point where I feel like I'm in danger. And I think a lot to do with that is because Northern Light is a fiberglass camper. Fiberglass campers, they do not have a wood wall framing in the walls or anything. What they use for their framing is actually the cabinets all around here. That is your supports for the roof. Same with up in here. So it ends up, you have it's a lot less top heavy, these. Even with this being a taller truck camper, sitting on the truck, I sit at about 12 feet high. I still don't notice it being really, really tall or teetering a lot when I go around corners or anything. It's a nice feature of fiberglass truck campers. Northern Light's not the only one like that. I know Bigfoot is like that too. And also another benefit, of course, of it being a fiberglass is it comes in a lot lighter than something like an Arctic fox or a adventurer or anything like that. Now, there is downfalls to that, of course. The Arctic fox does have more insulation and all that's jazz, but with that comes more weight. So I feel like this is a good in-between for that. Now, speaking about insulation, this is a Four Seasons truck camper. Now, I know there's a lot of talk about, is it actually Four Seasons or anything like that? I can say in the brochure it does say a Four Seasons truck camper. They did market it as a Four Seasons truck camper, but the fact is there is still mods you have to do to make it work for extreme Four Seasons. This here is the furnace. It has one duct going into the basement, and that's it. So there is some mods I have to do this winter to make it work properly. I'm adding a 2-inch duct to send over to the dump station where the dump valves are and the water pump is. That way it'll stay nice and warm in there. I'm sure this would be fine for about -5 or something like that, which is still considered winter, I guess, in some places. Usually where I am on the ski hill, it's usually about at least -15 at night, sometimes a lot colder. So I'd really like to be able to keep running water, and I'm going to do everything in my power to do that. So of course, I'm going to do my mods that I usually do to these when I want to turn it into a true four-season camper. Hey guys, it's Editor Kevin here. So I just wanted to mention some stuff to go over with the furnace. Now, I said in there that with these Northern Lights, you have to make it for extreme winter camping. You need to duct it into all the spots there. If you have a newer Northern Light, I believe 2016 and up, as far as I know, actually maybe even older than that, I'm not sure, not 100%. You'll have to look, but 2016 and up, you will have ducts going into all those areas that I was talking about, one to the tanks and then one into the dump station. You don't have to worry about adding that stuff to it. You should be okay. This is a 2001, and Northern Light was kind of just getting their feet and putting their toe in the water with Four Seasons. So I think I'll cut them some slack there. They gave me my dual pane windows, right? Okay, enjoy the video, you guys. Now, one of the things I think people kind of forget about when they're looking at campers is dual pane windows. I didn't think nothing of it. Last winter was interesting, and I made it work with adding the film over the windows. But now that I actually have dual pane windows, that was like one of the biggest things. When I came to look at this camper, I did not expect it to actually have dual pane windows. So I was pretty excited when I found out it has dual pane windows. And I still am excited about that because that's just an awesome feature. And I didn't realize back in 2001, Northern Light was putting dual pane windows in their campers. Now, I can't show you this, but it's what's in the walls. The insulation in this. My last truck camper was a Northern Light. It was in 1998, but I can tell you right now, there was a lot of spots that were lacking on insulation, and that made it, you could definitely notice it in the winter. This, all those spots that I remember that didn't have insulation, this does have insulation. At least some form of like fiberglass batting insulation or something. It has it in there. So that's a great thing to find in here, and that's going to help greatly this winter. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is the basement. My last truck camper, the basement was like this. This one, full size. Bam! It's a full 14-inch basement. That's how tall it is in there. So I can put my snowboards in there. I can put my paddleboard in there. All sorts of stuff. It just fits in there, and it's not an issue. Like I said, with storage. But this is more than storage to me. This was like a really big deal. Now I think another thing to talk about is going to be the fiberglass construction. That is absolutely one of the best things about this. It's easy to repair. It has a really good insulation value. Just in fiberglass itself has a good insulation value. And also, less places for leaks. There is still a chance for leaks on these. Don't get that wrong. Anything can leak. It's not a boat. Well, even boats can leak, right? That's a bit bigger of a deal though, because you're on the ocean and gonna sink. Fiberglass construction on a camper is one of the most sought out things, I think, in a camper. And there's a good reason why, and that's because they are less prone to leaking and they're pretty robust. Hey guys, we're back inside now. I'm currently at a public land use zone in out by Crow's Nest Pass, and it seems to be just a lot of noise. So my last thing now, why did I personally want to buy this truck camper? And honestly, I was looking at 3 brands: Arctic Fox, Bigfoot, and Northern Light. Now, looking at the Arctic Foxes, I was looking at the 811 because I knew I'd have to switch out the truck for that. And the more I read into Arctic Foxes and stuff, I realized that they weren't the end all be all for like 4-season campers and everything. I noticed a lot of people were saying that when it was cold out, bring your slide in because there's going to be a draft, which is fine. I could have done that. But the other fact too is I started like realizing there's a lot of times I stop in places and I just want to go into the back of the camper and not have to put the slide out. And I felt like having the slide and everything, I'd want to use it as much as I could. It just felt like putting it out and putting it back in just to stop quick and go anywhere and stuff like that. It just got a little bit, I don't know, it was a little tedious, but that's not a big deal either. Like right now, I've been parked here for 2 days and I could have quite honestly put out the slide and been sitting here all happy and stuff. But yeah, it just comes with more weight. I've heard they're a lot more top heavy than say the fiberglass campers. So while I did love the 811 and by all means it had the biggest tanks out of them all, it had probably the most robust frame out of them all, I just wasn't willing to go out, buy a new truck, and just so I could get a different camper. And so that brings me to the last 2, Bigfoot and Northern Light. Well, they both seem very much the same. I was looking at the Bigfoot 2500 series. The Bigfoot 2500 series, by the way, when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about older models. I'm not looking at new stuff. That's not me. So the Bigfoot 2500 series, I was looking at a 1999, and I went and looked at one. It was big. It was a 10.6. It had a dry bath in it. And the other thing too is it held 50 gallons of water. Now I thought that was a big camper. I thought to myself, wow, this would be really, really nice and everything. But I was worried about the truck handling it. The truck's not quite big enough for something that big. I think that once you get into that size, you're starting to look at a dually. It was just like the dry weight of that camper alone was like 3,000 pounds. So I wasn't going to throw that onto this truck. And not to mention, that held an extra like 12 gallons of water compared to this camper. So the more I thought about it, I had to say no to it. Now the Bigfoot, I think they are probably one of the best 4-season campers out of the box. But I guarantee to you, I'd probably be doing mods to that one too to make it better for winter. Because when you get into this lifestyle, any of these campers are not 100% for winter. You're still going to have stuff to do to them to prep them for winter, whether it be window covers, doing something over the windows just to try to keep moisture down, adding a ceiling fan to keep moisture out, like just lots of stuff like that. There was also the Bigfoot 9.6, but that didn't feel like much of an upgrade from my last camper. My last camper was a 9.6. All I would have gained on a Bigfoot 9.6 is a larger basement, dual pane windows, and a 50-gallon water tank. 50 gallons of water would have been nice. So I was tempted to go after that one, and I was going to go look at it, but it was quite far away, and it was between that one and this one, and the guy finally messaged me back about this one. This one was also a steal of a price. It was so good. And when I got and looked at this one, I could see why it was a steal of a price. It was quite dirty in here. But I looked past the dirtiness in here, and I seen that this one checked all the boxes. It was a lighter weight. It had a 14-inch basement. Like, that was probably one of the biggest things for me, like being able just to haul my snowboard under there, and like my paddleboard, everything else, fishing rods, whatever, all under there. That was such a big deal for me. The other thing too is, like, I know the Northern Light construction. I know like the ins and outs of it. I've had a camper of it before. I'm very familiar with this camper already. Even before getting into it, I just knew things about it. I knew what to look for. It wasn't a big learning curve where, like, if I would have went with the Bigfoot, yeah, it has a 30,000 BTU furnace, but I know nothing about that furnace. This one, if something goes wrong with it, I'm able to troubleshoot it like that and get it fixed. This furnace is also very reliable. I had to do the blower motor on my last one, and that was a pretty simple job. They also take like 2 minutes to pull out and service, so I'm not too upset about that. And the other fact too is the Bigfoots I was looking at, while I know you can get them with dual pane windows, the ones I was looking at did not have them. Would I say to you guys to go out and buy this truck camper? Yeah, I'd say it's an awesome truck camper. But I would also say you should do your own research and join these Facebook groups, because they're awesome information for anything that you want to know about these. The Northern Light Facebook group is absolutely phenomenal. They are able to answer so many questions for me, and it's been great. The Bigfoot one is very similar. They're able to answer a lot of questions too, and you're able to figure out like the little tips and tricks for winter camping. People go out and they buy Arctic Fox, Bigfoot, and Northern Light for winter camping. That's probably one of the biggest reasons people look at these, is because, well, it's a 4-season camper. It's going to be good in the winter. I can use this to go up to the ski hill. So when people look at that, and so you're going to have lots of information about people's experiences on actually going up there, what temperatures they got down to in these, and were able to run water or whatnot. The other reason too is that the Northern Light community has just been awesome. I absolutely love being a Northern Light owner. It's a great camper. That's going to be all, guys. That's basically why I bought a Northern Light truck camper, is the price, the community, and the craftsmanship. And I'm familiar with the brand and how things work on it. So with that being said, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Later.